A new controversy, brand new, puts candidate Trump on defense. But first, quick facts on the state of the race. You may know some of these. We are just 5 days out. Early in-person voting is happening in most of the country, 45 states. And this early surge that we've been tracking continues. You might say, well, of course, but it could drop off. The rate could change. But right now we are seeing a massive turnout every day that we get these numbers in. Now, over 61 million Americans have voted. That's 38% of the total 2020 vote. And if you ask people in what way are they voting overall, even beyond the numbers we have today, half of the current voting population is telling Gallup they are voting before Election Day, early in some manner. The race is still tied in these key swing states. Harris is out west today. She's rallying in Arizona and Nevada, where she's getting a boost from the megastar Jennifer Lopez, a surefire way to bring more attention to Harris being in town, because this is actually the Harris campaign's 10th Vegas rally this year, but the first with J-Lo. Late today, Harris getting other types of momentum. NBA All-Star LeBron James formally backing her. While that may or may not be a surprise, depending on how closely you follow his activism, it is a big deal and another big positive headline of momentum. The four-time NBA champ says, quote, "The choice is clear," and also made reference to the MSG rally and the hateful spectacle that we all saw on Sunday. For his part, Donald Trump's in New Mexico, and then he goes to Nevada. This is yet another day where both candidates have hit the same state in the same day. If you live in any of these key states, you have many chances to see both of them. Now we can show you, as you see on your screen, the Nevada breakdown. About 887,000 early votes, will be pretty much split. And over in Arizona, 1.7 million people have now voted early. Republican registrations lead Dems in that state. So now you have the basic facts, as I've been giving you every night if you tune into the beat here. As we head into the final weekend before this election, there are some other clear signals. Beyond the early turnout that's rising overall, which just shows you participation, there is a pattern on gender. And I'm going to tell you up front here why the Harris campaign is encouraged, or, as the phrase goes, cautiously optimistic for them. Women, as you may know, typically vote Democratic. The 2020 election, which elected Biden-Harris, did so with a gender coalition where they, the Biden-Harris ticket, won women by, do you remember how much? Was it by 5, by 10, 12? They actually won women by a whopping 15 points. It was key to the win. So if female turnout surges, if it keeps going up, Harris will have statistically better odds of winning. And in the massive early turnout that I'm telling you about, over 60 million now tonight, we can also see more women are turning out. That's in the early vote. You can see by 10 points, 54% women, 44% men, male. That's the gender gap in the early vote. And there's a lot of early vote. If the share of women stays high and it continues its Democratic lean, that would be bad for Trump. And all the current focus on what I just mentioned, the women's vote and this abortion issue, has put Trump on the defensive over both substance and style. Keep that in mind tonight, because before I bring in our guest, I want to talk to you a little bit about what's happening here. It is about substance and style. We know that his responses, like the way they dealt with the MSG rally, are the kind of closing argument that you'd be better off without. There are plenty of political people we talk to across the board, including conservatives, who say, if that's your closing argument, you'd be better off saying nothing. Now he's sparking terrible headlines about a new round of very blatant sexism at a rally last night, reminding voters of a longer history of documented misogyny. I'm not saying misogyny as an insult, although it is. I'm saying it, quoting the New York Times, as the actual dictionary definition of that kind of hateful, vile treatment and attack and rhetoric against women. It may be an insult, but in this case, it's the New York Times factually saying that the history of misogyny of Donald Trump is back in the headlines. Here, so you can hear it yourself, is what he said at the rally last night.
I'm president. I want to protect the women of our country. They said, sir, I just think it's inappropriate for you to say, pay these guys a lot of money. Can you believe it? I said, well, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them.
Quote, whether they like it or not. The Washington Post reports that aggressive phrase distills the entire 2024 gender gap. Here is Harris's response today.
His latest comment is just the most recent in a series of examples that we have seen from him in his words and deeds about how he devalues the ability of women to have the choice and the freedom to make decisions about their own body.
That's the vice president, both addressing what he said and linking it back, as I told you, to the substance. The style is the nasty, mean-spirited sort of I control you, whether you like it or not, quote-unquote, misogyny. The substance, the vice president argues in her closing, is actually still about policy and rights and what people are allowed to do in Trump's America. Here's how the View's hosts responded.
When you say whether you like it or not, tells women a lot about who you are.
Yes.
And why they're going to stay away from you.
Yeah.
See, because with you, clearly no doesn't mean no.
Well, no.
Whether you like it or not means I'm going to do it whether you want it or not. That's not the message you want to send women right now.
But I have a question.
I might have an answer.
It's like a technical question.
Okay.
Can you protect women and assault them at the same time?
Right. Right.
That's one question. Many young and first-time voters may not have had the 2016 political coverage front of mind, and we all know how memories fade if you're talking 8 years back, but you see on your screen a memory of an admission, an incriminating statement. Donald Trump's closing, what he said last night, this political news cycle, is now bringing back his admission on the Access Hollywood tapes, which we can tell you is also now trending anew on TikTok.
Moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping. I moved on her like a but I couldn't get there, and she was married. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Whatever you want. Grab them by the
The words on that tape by Donald Trump are the definition of self-incriminating. And since then, a jury has found him liable for sexual abuse against writer E. Jean Carroll, a judge noting that under the legal standard in that civil case, quote, Trump was found to have raped Carroll. That quote you can see, judge clarifies in the Washington Post headline, that's a quote from the presiding judge. In total, 27 women have publicly accused Trump of varying forms of sexual assault, harassment, or misconduct, including the newest one coming forward last week. That is his own conduct. On policy, Trump paved the way for these abortion bans in 21 states. That issue is on the ballot in several states next week. We've told you about that in our coverage. People make up their own mind, but in every state, including red ones that have responded to the end of Roe, Republicans have lost those issues. And as you can see, this includes swing states like Arizona and Nevada, if you're looking at it politically. And Republicans are looking at it politically. When it comes to turnout and the politics, top Republicans view this as a losing issue, as basically the last topic their party wants to close on.
Ohio tonight, we continue the losing streak in the pro-life movement.
Republicans can't keep stumbling and bumbling on abortion.
Republicans need to learn how to talk about abortion.
But until we own this issue as a party, we will lose again and again and again.
Those are just some of the Republican voices. So we're about to turn to our leadoff guest on this, Juanita Tolliver, and we'll hear her response to this. I will just add that when Donald Trump routinely and repeatedly demeans women in public, we hear from Republicans that they say they wish he'd talk about policy. They wish he'd get back to policy. But Donald Trump and his now MAGA-fied Republican Party cannot talk to most women about policy right now because their policy was to change 50 years of settled precedent to take away women's fundamental rights. That's the policy conversation in this area if they go back to that, which you'll notice the vice president mentioned in her response. This is the reality for the MAGA Republican Party. And nothing about that is going to change in 5 days, whether they like it or not.